Everybody go and get your tinfoil cap. Hazmat suits for the losers in the back. It goes gas mask, gas mask, gas mask, gas. Hazmat suits for the losers in the back.
Hello. Welcome to the first Council of the Waste podcast. We are here tonight and we are here to talk about Fallout Season 2, Episode 1, The Innovator. My name is Ravenswift. I am a YouTuber and I stream Bethesda games because I love Bethesda games. I'm here with some of my very dear friends tonight, Babylonia Rising, Rameth Zero Gaming, and the notorious DOM, and the lovely Kathy.
Hey.
So we are all here tonight to talk about what went down in episode 1 of Fallout Season 2. Do you guys want to say anything about who you are and what your channel is all about?
Yeah, you want to go around the room?
Sure. Go ahead, Ram.
Oh, all right. Hello, everybody. My name is Ravenswift Zero, and I am the host of Ravenswift Zero Gaming. I am a variety streamer that enjoys games with storytelling, open world explorations, rich, deep lore games that have a lot of meat and texture, things that inspire wonder, often horror and post-apocalyptic genres. I often go deep into the nuances of those games while playing them, and I riff with the audience about talking points when they come up.
Nice. Bubbles.
Hey, I'm Bubbles, and I'm a YouTuber. I'm on Twitch, and my channel is at Babylonia Rising. I'm basically a Fallout, Bethesda streamer, Starfield, Skyrim, Fallout 76. Recently started playing some Grand Theft Auto online. So, I like what I like. I like story games. I like mods. I like modding, and I like mod creators. And so I try to highlight that kind of thing with my channel, and we go from there.
Awesome. And then the notorious Dom and Kathy.
Of course. Well, I mean, since this is going on our channel eventually, you'll know us by now.
Mhm.
It's your one and only notorious FAM. Yeah. And I mean, we are obviously huge fans of pro wrestling because you see it here all the time. But last year we brought Fallout 4 streams and Bethesda streams to our channel, and people absolutely adored them, ate them up, and it also helped us meet wonderful people like the people you see on the screen with me and Kathy. And from there, things just kind of took off. But I mean, I personally have been a fan of Bethesda games since the very first Fallout, or before they were Bethesda games. Really, we're talking Interplay at this point.
Yeah, true.
And I eventually recruited her after we started living together because she didn't have a choice.
Yep, pretty
So
much.
there was that.
Well, it's hard not to fall in love with Fallout. So
Yeah,
Right?
it's
okay with
great to
that.
be able to share your passion for something like that with somebody that you're sharing space with.
Absolutely. And I think we all love it for slightly different reasons too, which adds that element of friction that's so addictive, right?
yeah.
Addicted friction.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a band.
Do you want to introduce yourself to the people who may not know you? Or?
Oh, well, I'm Kathy. I am usually on some wrestling shows. I make some guest appearances on Circle Debate channel and Notorious Gaming, of course. But yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think we should probably tell the viewers what exactly we're talking about. So I'm just going to read out a short summary of the episode. So the episode was called The Innovator, and it starts off by showing the unrest that was caused by Robco's push to spread the use of robotics in New Vegas. And we see who we assume is the real Mr. House testing out a mind control device on a burly construction worker. And next we see Lucy and CX404 quote unquote rescuing, you can't see it right now, but I'm doing finger quotes, rescuing
So are we.
the ghoul from the cons in Novak. The cons sounds like I'm saying CONS, but it's KHANS.
Con-
Cans.
Yeah, just think of Star Trek.
cans. Okay, we flash back to Cooper Howard dealing with the knowledge that House is capitalizing on the war and his interactions with Kate Williams / Moldaver. Back in Vault 33, they're running out of water and seemingly nonplussed about the fact that Norm is missing, who is trapped in Vault 31 with Bud, the Robo-Brain. Norm finally grows a spine and decides to thaw all of the cryopods that he's stuck in there with. Not sure what's going to happen with that, but we'll find out soon. The new residents of Vault 32 struggle with the variances, and we learn that Overseer Stephanie is putting off assigning Chet anywhere. And I'm thinking it's solely because she just needs a babysitter, but we will also find that out. The Ghoul, Lucy, and CX404 show up at Vault 24. Where they find the corpses of communist ? Residents. Some with mind control devices still attached, but also some with heads no longer attached. So then we see Hank Hank arrives at Vault-Tec headquarters, where he promptly gets back to work at perfecting the implants after calling a mysterious boss type on the telephone. It was a telephone, wasn't it? Or was it some sort of like
It was a
It seemed like
shortwave
a-
radio.
Yeah.
Shortwave
Okay.
TV type radio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yes, he was speaking with somebody who we don't know who they are. So it could be Mr. House, it might not be. So we'll talk about that in a couple minutes, I'm sure. Did I forget anything, guys? Anything important?
No,
No,
I think
that
they
about
kind of
sums
nailed
it
it
up.
there,
Good
homegirl.
gloss over. Unless, did you put a spoiler tag in?
Mm, no.
No. All right.
We'll put a spoiler tag in the
We'll do that in
description and the
post.
title. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Put like a
Yeah,
flashing
don't-
beacon.
Don't watch this if you haven't watched the episode.
Man, if you clicked on this and it says we're talking about the Innovator, the first episode of season
You're
2,
complicit.
and you haven't watched
Exactly.
it, you're in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're enclave. That's what that is.
You're enclave.
You're totally enclave.
All right. So we've broken this down into 5 things, like 5 categories that we're going to talk about. I'll just go over them really quickly now. We're going to talk about the setting. We're going to talk
Here,
about
I
the
got you.
characters, the locations, the scenes themselves, and some of the environmental storytelling and Easter eggs that we all love. So let's start it off. We'll start talking about the setting, which is like Las Vegas. Is that where they filmed all this?
Yeah,
Are we
well, I think
thinking on a
generally the
micro or a
wasteland.
macro level?
Oh, look at that big spoiler alert.
See, I got you.
Spoiler.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good job, Dom.
I do what
All
I
right.
can with what I got.
Awesome.
But I think most of it featured, like, unless you were looking at specific scenes, I think there was a lot of travel involved to actually get to New Vegas, with a lot of little stops in between to kind of lead up to that.
Hmm.
Yeah. It mostly felt like it honestly mostly felt like playing New Vegas, only watching it live
Yeah.
on screen
Mhm.
with real people.
Yeah.
And with the mind I had, immediately I thought what we're seeing is the director wanting to give you the gravity of what they're walking into. As you're seeing it, you see like the little nuances. You're feeling that ominousness about the wasteland, how there's whenever like travel scenes are meant to set up as sort of like when you're reaching a destination, it doesn't always have to be physical. There's also like some mental stuff going on with the characters. And so as you go along, you see how just reaching the destination kind of changes them and makes their destination feel more personal. And that is hopefully conveyed to the audience at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's some interesting symbolism there with kind of the road trip vibe that they're going for with this process.
Hmm.
And also the idea that they've been on the road together for enough time to have developed kind of a plan for how they deal with who they run into and what kind of games they're playing when they run into people that they might want to be
Right.
less than fully open with. So I think
Lucy
that
and the
there's
Ghoul were
that'll-
not antagonistic.
not at all. And not only that, but there was some talk about we had a plan. You know how we do this. This is the way that we've decided we're doing this type of thing. So it made me think, okay, they've been on the road for a while. Now, whether that's
like they've done this
10
before.
days or,
Exactly.
3 months, I don't know, but they've been on the road for a while. And so we're coming in the middle of that, I think, that process where they've already kind of butted heads and found some sort of equilibrium. And now we're moving forward to the jaggedy parts that are still rubbing against each other,
Yeah, so we're talking about the scene in Novak, right? Like where the ghoul has been captured, and then Lucy's up in the what's the dinosaur's name?
Dinky.
I always forget. Dinky the dino. And I know, like, when I saw that, I was like, well, this is like, yes, we definitely got a feeling that they had done this before, or had at least talked about it before, because they had a plan, right? So in my head, I was wondering, like, is this just kind of like an escape plan for them? Like, in case they get into trouble, this is what we'll do. Or was this a way for them to actually make caps? Because, like, that was kind of the whole point at the end of all that.
It seemed implied that they
Yeah.
rigged this so that they could get the caps from the bounty and then bugger out the moment they pulled the whammy.
In fact, I think Lucy Alba says it when she stands up in the dinosaur mouth and starts hollering down to the cons, where she said, we plan to get the caps for the bounty and then ambush you to take your supplies, ammo, food, whatever. And, then things
Comms were known for chem dealing. So there was probably a lot of money to be made.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
The goal likes his chems. So.
I was just about to say that.
This is a very small drop in a very big bucket.
Bucket of drip.
Yeah, he mentioned it, I think, in the episode that he's low.
Yeah, well, that would make sense too. Going like if what Bubbles said, like if they'd been traveling for a long time, but he got all of that, whatever that drug is, in season 1 from that one
from his dealer, his friend, the dealer.
Yeah,
basically took the entire stash once he put him down.
Well, it's not the only drug he uses. He's got to get some. He's got to have some variety.
Yeah, he needs.
Yeah, I don't think they go into
recreational
detail
drugs
as to which drug it is. They just
Well, it's named. There is a name for it anyway. In Fallout 76.
Yeah, the fix.
The fix. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it's called? Oh.
In 76.
Now whether that carries over to, 200 and something years later on the West Coast.
Yeah, who knows?
It's probably got a dozen different names depending on region, and we could go into the how drugs change names over the years anyway. But this is a family friendly podcast.
Sure,
don't do drugs, kid.
No, don't do drugs unless you're the ghoul, and then of course
If you need them so you don't eat brains, that's one thing.
Right.
Yes.
Otherwise, don't do drugs.
Probably best. Yeah.
Probably the best.
So, like, in talking about the setting of the show, I guess that's maybe a little bit more general than what we're talking right now. But, like, the setting, as in the fact that they do, like, the whatever quote unquote present day is with the ghoul and Lucy and their journey to find Hank. But then they do a lot of flashbacks to tell a lot of the backstory. So, I like, what do you guys like, the present day stuff, or do you guys like the flashbacks more?
I love it both. I'm so glad they did it that way.
I think they're going to become intertwined at some point. There might be a point of subversion where you're going to find out some information, particularly about Cooper Howard, because he's the one that's wrestling with the emotional labor of what he's going through. And I think that this may be a great plot device for you to, when you get that one flashback, that's the aha moment, you're gonna see his expression change, and it might cause a shift in whatever future scene that they're trying to build with that.
Yeah.
Well, and they did that in season 2, Dom. Sorry about that. They did that in season 2. It built up to that final episode where all these realizations kind of went bam, 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 one right after the other in that final episode. So I think that's generally that cross, the past and the present, or whatever you want to call it, is part of their overall structure. It's built into the show.
Yeah, that's kind of what I love about the mix, is that you get the moments that kind of turn Cooper Howard from what he was into what he is, laid out in front of you completely raw. Like, if you pause it right here, you can pinpoint the moment his wife broke his fucking heart. Like that.
You could
That is
read it
so
on
much
his
more.
face.
It's so much more gut wrenching and so much more emotional than just having him sit back and tell his story by a fire,
Oh,
which
yeah.
they
For
could have
sure.
obviously
Yeah.
done in this
Yeah.
scenario. But to go back and show him, happy and carefree and thinking he has this amazing love of his life and this wonderful family and this beautiful career, and then to watch the bubble burst. No offense, Bubbles. Not you. But to watch the bubble burst, like, literally before your very eyes, is so much more impactful than just having him tell you after the fact.
For
Well,
sure.
I got a question for you. I got a question for you then. Did the bubble really burst? Was the breaking point the moment when she said we could drop the bombs ourselves and guarantee our profits? Or was it the moment that she told him no dogs were allowed in the vault?
Ooh, that is
Because
a
I
good
think there's a
question.
good argument to be
Straw
made.
that broke the camel's back.
I think the no dogs thing was kind of like, that was kind of the beginning of the end to him, because he thought, like, oh, this is my wife and she's so sweet and she's so caring and she loves this and she loves that. And then the no dogs thing came up and they fought tooth and nail over it. And afterwards he had that look like, who the hell are you? And what did you do with my wife? And then when he finally has the courage to plant something on her Pip-Boy and spy on her in that meeting and hear her say, we're going to drop the bombs ourselves. That's literally, like, one moment is the beginning of the curtain start to fall. The next moment is literally his whole world crumbles.
Okay, that's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you think that she made that decision that no dogs were allowed?
Oh yeah, I think so.
You think she made the decision?
I think so. With the kind of personality that they portray with her, she seems like what her way is like is how it's gonna be. So
Yeah.
cold
yeah.
and calculating?
Yeah.
And I
Truly.
would like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, why would she do that? But like, I think she was just really jealous of that dog.
I think you're
Because
right.
Yeah.
yeah,
You might
like
be
the
right about
dog
that.
had been in the movies with him, and like clearly he loves that dog. Like, and clearly
all
he
that
loves his
time with
wife
him.
too. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But like, I can totally see her being jealous of the dog, and then having that power to make that call, and makes the call, and then
It is a power move for sure.
For
Especially
sure.
given the history of dogs and mankind evolving side by side over the years,
Yeah.
over the millennia that we've been together. My thought is that it was a pragmatic idea, because if you're going to sustain humans in basically these fallout shelters, you can extend that to dogs to a certain extent, but there's a lot of things that you would be. It could be that Vault Tech may have been, having money systems in place, what made holding dogs impractical. That did kind of enter my head
well, and
on
that's
a
what she
lesser
had
degree.
said, didn't she?
Yeah.
Like, she was like, we're at it's limited resources, so
Hmm. Hmm.
something's got to go.
It could have just
Yeah.
been nobody wanted to pick up the poop.
Maybe
Could be.
there's that too.
There's a lot of
Right.
lazy dog owners.
And we're gonna feed
Oh,
the
for
dog.
sure, for sure.
A lot.
And not to mention, like, think about like dogs in the world today, like in shelters. How many get, housed out of the many that are out there. Like that represents a cascading problem on a practical level.
Right.
For
Why
sure.
not chickens? Why not horses?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and not only that, but it could be just a simple loyalty test too. Like, are you on board with this program? Because the first thing we're going to do is tell you that no dogs are allowed
Right.
in the vault.
Yeah.
And if you're not committed to Vault Tech, then you're going to start going, but wait, what about my dog? And
Yeah.
what about how cute they are? And whereas Vault Tech people are going to be like, whatever, fine with that.
Yeah. Because they're making the
Mhm.
hard decisions to even make that call.
That's right.
Not all of it's going to rest well on everyone's shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally a scenario where if if you're not on board with it, or you're sitting there and asking like, well, what about my dog? He's pretty good and he's kind of well trained, and can't there be an exception made? I don't think Vault-Tec has any other response than basically simply like,
I don't care.
But it also could be like, once you open that door, wouldn't it become a slippery slope?
For sure. I
Yeah.
can't see Vault-Tec
Because
being willing to
everybody loves
compromise
their
on something like
pets.
that.
You
Yeah.
know, everybody loves their pets. Like, I would be like, can I bring my ferret?
can I bring my python? He's such a good boy.
Yeah, yeah.
He'll behave, I
you know.
promise.
And then there would be vaults with pythons, and that's the big thing about questions like that in Fallout too, because it's going to weed out the weaklings from Vault-Tec's point of view, right? Like, people who are obsessed with the idea of bringing their pets in are going to be not on board with this anyway. So as soon as you tell them you're not going to be able to bring your pets into the vault, and they make a deal out of it, you're not going to bring them into the next level of trust, the next circle of debate, right? They're going to be left on the outside of Bud's
circling
buds.
back to
You
the
see what I'm
loyalty
saying?
thing.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
funny.
That
Bubbles
was
is so
slick. You.
clever.
Well, and at the same time, you find the right vaults, and you might find an overseer of the good vault who made an exception for themselves, because that's the character of Vault-Tec.
Are
Yeah,
there
they
any
did
good
kind of
vaults,
split
though?
up. Yeah, the different vaults with the different themes. Everybody was getting, at the board meeting, everybody was getting their own. The rules may just have applied to, these are the privileged Hollywood elite that are getting into the vault. That could be, like she mentioned, that just as a point of their vault alone. It could be,
Right.
Other vaults have different criteria, but he didn't need to know that. She wants to keep him under her thumb,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
It was to say goodbye to your dog, honey, because when this happens, he's not going with us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a power move, as you guys pointed out.
Mhm.
So
And power move, but also kind of like a tipping point for Cooper, because he
Yeah.
was like, that made him really stop and think about things. Like, wait a second, do I want to do
Yeah.
this? Like,
I'll
It
say
scratched
this.
the itch
I
that he
don't
didn't
believe-
realize was there.
mhm.
I don't believe he would have taken Moldaver's recording device if he wasn't upset about the dog.
Yeah.
That's why I brought that
Yeah.
up, and I think you bookended
Ah.
it really well.
I
Right,
didn't.
like the beginning and the
That was the
end of his
beginning of the end.
disenchantment.
That's a
right?
good point. I didn't put that together now until you said that.
Because he
Mhm.
didn't really want to be a part of it at first, and
Nope.
then all of a sudden the stuff comes up about the dog, and
Mhm.
he's going back to Williams Moldaver, call her what you will, and now he's willing to bug her Pip Boy and all this other stuff. So
Uh-huh.
it was like, as soon as he didn't mind her, because his wife is the epitome of the I can change him woman on steroids.
Mhm.
Like, she took a wholesome all-American cowboy actor, turned him into a vault boy, had him literally representing Vault-Tec everywhere he went, brought him all these elitist parties that he couldn't stand. She wanted him to wear the Pip Boy, be all in, do all this stuff, get rid of the dog, the whole nine. And finally, when he realized it, he decided to fight back, because even in television, you can't change somebody.
Are you saying she tamed him, Dom?
She tried.
Yeah.
Clearly, it didn't work from what we've seen.
Yeah,
But
really.
she tried.
It
Yeah.
definitely did not work.
I would
mean,
want to.
She even talked about getting them into like one of the good vaults, and honestly, like the entire time that I've watched this series, including this episode, I've never thought Cooper made it into one of those ever.
Mm.
Well, I think
Like,
it's pretty obvious that
If
Probably
anything, my theory is that, and if you played the original games, Cooper came from Vault 12.
Yeah.
Because that
What
was
do
the
you
one in
mean?
it was
Bakersfield.
close to his ranch.
Oh.
And the
Mm.
experiment that Vault-Tec set up was the vault door would not close all the way after the bombs dropped.
Mhm.
They were going to let radiation leak in so that they could see how it would affect their residents.
Oh.
Everybody died or ghoulified.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's
Yeah.
why they said in the show, "Oh, we're
Because
we'll
even
go
Moldaver
ask."
comes out on the
Mhm.
other side somehow as in much better shape than Cooper.
Mhm.
Right.
So my theory being, proximity and everything else is that somehow Cooper got to Vault 12 and somewhere, Janie and his wife are in a decent vault.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of power moves, what did you guys think of the first scene, the flashback pre-war scene with House?
House.
Which one?
Establishing shot.
That
is
was
what
my
I
fault.
saw.
Which one?
Yeah, House in the bar, House on the TV, House in the bar. What do you guys think of that whole setup? Because there's been a little bit of controversy about whether or not House would be ever not a recluse enough to be in the bar in the first place. The whole "hit me, I might enjoy it" thing seems a little out of character for him. But what do you think?
That's my theory. It's out of character for Robert House,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not out of character for Anthony House, his half brother.
Okay,
His
so
half brother
of the camp.
was a tinfoil hat wearing psychopath, and was mad as hell at Robert in the first place for the attention he got while they were basically sharing H&H tools with their father, and he did everything he could to push him away. If you can somehow manage to get through H&H tools in New Vegas, which is a goddamn death trap, you will find a terminal in that building to completely shut down the Lucky 38.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anthony House was maniacal, and when he said "punch me in the face, I think I might like it," that's exactly what I thought.
Well, that's an interesting point, because the level of, for lack of a better word, retcon that you would have to do just to put him acting in concert with his brother at that stage of their lives, because he had him disinherited at the age of 8. You know what I mean? They were not on speaking terms as far as everything up until this TV show is trying to portray. So it's interesting, because you're not wrong. He was crazy, paranoid, probably a little bit on, maybe might have got a kick out of getting his ass beat, a little bit more than Robert House, for sure. But we don't know that. He did have some weird relationships. If you read the terminals in H&H Tools, he had a assistant that would literally clean up the bodies for him. He had employees that had to keep their badges on at all times, even when they went to the restroom, or they would be shot by turrets in the hallways. I mean,
Oh my God.
he was a nut. So, but they canonically, up until now anyway, weren't on speaking terms since Robert was 8. So it adds an extra layer to the onion as far as like how far were they willing to flesh out this relationship, if that's the case.
I'm literally biting my tongue because I have a theory, but I don't want to jump. I don't want to jump.
Okay, all right. No, you can save it for later. It's fine. Because what's the other theory, guys? What's the other theory that everybody's talking about right now? The body double thing, right? The Howard Hughes.
That's the popular
body
one,
double thing.
the prevailing narrative.
Which could be as well, because the Howard Hughes was the basis for Robert House's character.
Yes.
And so immediately everybody goes to that and says, well, he used body doubles. But yeah, where would you find a body double that was that committed to tell somebody to punch him in the frickin' face?
Yeah. And a body double who's willing to.
Double.
Yeah. A body double who's willing to, like.
That was on the resume. Will you take a punch for me?
Well,
like, I
will
mean,
you take
yeah,
a
there's
punch for me,
$31
and
million
will you
in the
blow
trunk,
someone's
but I
head
don't know
off?
if I'd take a punch to the face for that.
If I'm willing to go to the job site with his $31 million, I must be committed enough to take the face punch. Either that or that's my private kink. You know what I mean? Because I'm already all in at 31 mil, right?
So-
like I
so
didn't
what
just
we're-
drive out of town with this
So what
money.
we're saying is whether it's a body double or it's Anthony House, whoever it was has an alleged safe word.
He, allegedly.
Pretty
and
much,
that
yeah.
word may or may not
Okay,
be
that's
paramount.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Regardless of what theory you may believe, they probably allegedly have a safe word.
Okay, so I think that it is Mr. House. I think it is House. I'm gonna just say that.
What makes you say that?
Because I don't know.
Is it just a feeling?
It's a
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
a suspicion?
gut check.
And I just feel
It's a
like,
very strong premonition.
well, it's not very strong. It's not very strong. But
I was trying to give you credit.
well, I think it is, but we'll find out. Like, it'll all unravel before us soon enough. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So I guess we talked about enough like characters, like the dog and Cooper
Mhm.
and House
Mhm.
and everything like that. So locations is something that we should talk about. And yeah, what I thought was really interesting was the show's use of Vault 24 and how
Ah, yeah.
it
That was
was
cool.
that was like an inaccessible vault in the games,
Yeah, it
right?
was cut content, I
It
believe.
was.
cut
It was cut
content.
Oh, it was cut
Yeah.
content. Okay, okay.
Oh.
Which is
So
the best use of cut content I've ever seen.
It's
honestly.
Yeah.
great. I love
Yeah.
that they just threw that back on the table and like, oh, we can finally use this now.
And let's just
Yeah.
make the gnarliest scene possible. Let's take Americans and try to turn them into commies.
Right, right.
Well,
That is so Fallout.
well,
That is
I
truly
think that
Fallout.
that is probably one of the experiments because in Fallout 76, there's a place called Mama Dolce's, and if you go down below it, there's a huge conspiracy about communism that
Mhm.
they're trying to lay on other people. Now, in the Fallout universe, there is that layer of McCarthyism going on where they're like, yeah, the Reds this, the Reds that. And so, but to implant the idea that you may have American bred domestic insurgents
Yeah.
that wearing communist hats, like you can destroy an enemy. And this is backed up by the fact that if you're in the Charleston building and you're applying or no, I'm sorry, Hornwright, you're taking an executive test for Hornwright, and one of the questions they ask you relates to how to discredit an enemy corporation. And that seemed a very appropriate segue into something like that. I thought about that at the time when I saw it. So
Yeah, there's
that
been
makes a very handy political tool in unscrupulous hands.
Yeah, there's been a lot of little spots in games that have been throughout Fallout have been dedicated to communism, like communist sleeper cells in a toy
You're
warehouse
implanting
in
the
Fallout
boogeyman.
3. You know,
Mhm.
Skyline Valley had Camp Liberty.
that's
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Camp Liberty literally was pioneer scouts who were brainwashed into becoming communists.
Just the fact that they were literally using mind control devices and all kinds of crazy imagery to try to turn Americans into communists in a vault just
So
feels like a
Fallout.
whole other level, but still feels Fallout at the same time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It
Well, the
definitely
government
ramps up the
falling
stakes.
apart.
Sorry,
What do you
were you
mean?
saying, Bubbles? Oh, or
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just said it ramps up the stakes. The idea that they would have a vault for turning or experimenting with mind control devices. And what's the experiment? Why not try to turn them into communists? It's just quintessential Fallout nonsense, Vault Tech nonsense.
Mhm.
So,
That's one of those
Meant to
Fallout, whoa, that
obfuscate.
escalated quickly kind of moment.
Yeah.
That's always what it does, right? When you get the people around the table and you go, well, what are we going to do to make some more money? And they're like, well, why not have these vaults where we experiment on people to figure out the best way to get more money? And well, how do you know people are going to go in the vaults? I don't know. We could destroy the whole world. It just
I don't know.
escalated quickly. You know, that's their
Yeah.
whole thing.
How do we get the populace of America into these vaults?
Right.
What would be the greatest source of stress in the outer
That's
world?
easy, silly. We just drop
Yeah,
a few
just
bombs.
make the world uninhabitable.
We just
Then they
nuke
have to go
everything.
down.
Easy
Nobody's
peasy,
going to look out the
Georgie
door and go,
Lemon.
I need to get back out there. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to do that for however many years, you know?
I don't
Guys,
know,
I
man.
feel like they're trying to turn us into commies. Let me out. Let me out.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I look shitty in tight jumpsuits, and blue's my least favorite color. So I don't know.
They've got holotapes that'll make you more comfortable for that.
Yeah. We could probably, brainwash you into making you feel a little bit more comfortable about that blue jumpsuit.
You want to see this lanky 6'4" frame in a tight blue jumpsuit? You just don't.
During the scene with the why can't I bring my dog? Cooper Howard literally says to his wife, do I have to wear the blue jumpsuit? Why does it have to be blue?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be blue? Is that ever explained in any of the lore? No,
That I
nothing.
don't know.
Probably more of a
Nothing.
branding marketing
No.
decision.
Not that I can remember. No, it just
That's
always
crazy.
was.
Yeah, I'm
It
guessing
was
it's a
just
branding
brand
thing, like Ram
specific,
said.
you know.
Yeah.
We're Vault Tech, we're blue, you wear blue. You don't like
Hmm.
it, go away. The wasteland is right there. There's the door.
You've got two options: the
You
wasteland
can
or
stay
a
here,
blue.
wear blue. You can go out there and the trees are humming.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I guess like to turn Americans into communists, that's like what's the worst thing an American can think of at that point in that like in the Fallout universe at that point in time?
Right?
Like
Yeah.
communists were the common
Yeah.
enemy, right? So
Universally
Especially
reviled.
considering
yeah.
the first season where they were showing the backlash because they were blaming all these celebrities and Hollywood actors for being communists, and even Cooper got caught up in it
Yep.
for a
Mhm.
second because
Mhm.
one of his co-stars
Charlie
was
White.
named, and you know
Right.
that
Bingo.
sort of thing. With all that backlash, to have a vault where they're actually trying to make more communists out of Americans is insane.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think that mirrors the real world Red Scare.
Yeah.
The fact that
Yep.
that the Fallout universe seems to have two of them, it's because it works. You know, it's
Mhm.
like, well, why do we put sugar in soft drinks? Because the sweeter it is, the more people want to drink it.
Oh
You know,
God, I'm
it's
gonna
it,
say it. I'm gonna say it. It just works.
it just works. It just works. So
Uh-huh.
labeling people as a communist in a way is even worse than being one in the eyes of the average American.
Yeah.
Being called one is even worse than actually being one to a lot of people. And they fear that
Manufacturing
more than anything
paranoia
else.
is a powerful tool. Has anybody seen the show The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street?
Nope.
It's a old Twilight Zone episode. It's a town that gets shut down. They shut the electricity down, and one by one, all the neighbors. And this is in like 1950s, 1960s America. So we're coming out of World War II by this time, and the whole concept of this show is that all the neighbors in this happy neighborhood start slowly turning on each other,
Yeah.
wondering who turned
I
off the
remember
light.
this one now.
Why are all these things happening? Who's making these noises in the dark? And before you know it, everybody is fighting everybody. So manufacturing your boogeymen, that's not outside of, things that are happening, in modern day legacy media, especially in cancel culture. It's easy to throw a label on somebody and go, public, get them.
Mhm.
It's very easy to do that.
Well,
Oh,
and I
did we
think
lose
I think
Dom?
it's pretty obvious, Dom, that
Oh
you don't
no,
mix well
Dom.
with the neighbors, and that been standoffish. You don't go to the right parties. Why are the lights out right now?
Yeah.
What do you know about this? Your car started and then it stopped all by itself. What's going on?
Yeah.
And that's all it takes, really.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to Dom. He's not on the screen anymore, but
He
hopefully
made
he
like
comes
a
back.
one moment, or I want to make a point, or a wait one moment kind of
Oh,
mark.
okay.
Okay.
So
So it's possible that he did it on purpose, but I don't know.
that hopefully is the case, and hopefully he will be back momentarily.
Mhm.
It's funny
Um,
that you bring up that episode of Twilight Zone because I just watched that 3 weeks ago, but I didn't
Did
recognize
you?
it
Oh,
by
yeah?
name until
Oh,
you started
it's so
describing it.
good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
So good.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
the critical point of that show really is what is, to me, what I feel is so great about like dystopian and post-apocalyptic genres. Because if you line them up side to side, a lot of post-apocalyptia is like you're removing distractions. You're not going to see movies. You're not looking at your phone. You're not watching television. It's people clustered together in these really tight spaces in an anarchistic environment. What do you become in those moments?
Yeah.
And how do you and your community flourish? So,
And it's
in my
not just
opinion,
about hunger. It's not just
yeah,
about water. It's about in groups and out groups, and whether you trust your neighbors or not. How far
we
that
go back
trust
to our
goes if we don't
tribalism.
have our phones.
Hmm.
So interesting. Raven, you were going to make a point about.
I don't remember what it was now.
Fair enough. Fair
It's
enough.
okay. So yeah, we've talked about the setting of the show and the different characters, a few of the different characters, the locations. The next thing are like the scenes. Do you guys have a favorite scene of episode 1? Yeah, Ram is shaking his head, nodding his head
Yes.
vehemently. Go ahead,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Tell us. Tell us.
The scene, and this is actually like leaded into one of my questions was because I actually had a friend tell me that Norm, Lucy's brother, is apparently I have something in common with this. Like she saw a connection between me and Norm, and the scene where he went out on this fact-finding mission. I frequently go down rabbit holes to learn information, and so Norm is there, and there's this scene where he's conversing with Bud, the Robo Brain, and there's like in the short spaces of like in between everything in the liminal space, you could see that Norm is changing the longer he's there. He's getting desperate. He's hungry, and the vault around him had its own form of just being ominous and dark and foreboding. Like the truth is all around me, and I'm not absorbing it very well. It doesn't help me that I'm trapped in this space, and I've got this psychotic robot with a poisonous drug that he wants to put in me. That scene really kind of spoke to me in a lot of ways.
What I didn't like about that scene, though, was how kind of abrupt his change of heart was. Like, it really seemed like he went from like
Was it though?
0 to 100. I don't know. And I guess I didn't really catch on to like the passing of time. Like, how long
It-
was he stuck in there?
I think
It's not implicitly stated. No.
it's not, and I think they were trying to tell that with every time they'd show a different view of the floor, and there would
Yeah.
be more like ration boxes laying there, more empty ration boxes.
Mhm,
'Cause I don't think he ate 12 ration boxes in the first hour that he was in there. But that
Right.
scene I feel like would have worked better if it was told over 2 or 3 episodes,
Mhm.
because he really had to get hungry before he got bold. Remember what he told his sister when she left the vault? She's like, I'll do it to you too. I'll knock you out too. When she left and she had knocked out her cousin. And he said, don't worry, I'm not going to go. I'm a coward,
Yeah.
mhm,
and he
mhm.
literally said, I'm a coward. So in order for him to get from coward to man of action, person of action, he had to be hungry. He had to be hungry enough to want to eat a centipede and realize, where his situation was.
Right.
Do you think
Once
it
he
was
was
Yeah.
hungry,
just
Despair.
Do you think it was
Ye-
just hunger that motivated him to actually
I think hunger
I
is a
think it
metaphor
was-
for his mindset. It's more than just hunger, but it's
Yeah.
yeah.
The
I think it was he
stage.
literally got to the point where he realized he, as Bud had said, like he only had a couple of choices, and
Mhm.
if he didn't, like the only thing that was left to do was something desperate
Mhm.
because he's out of food. He's barely got water. You see him like holding the bottle up to whatever the condenser
Condensation.
was to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
the
yeah.
drips off
Mhm.
of it.
Yeah.
He's been listening to Bud for God knows how long, who is like the cutest little robo brain ever. Why didn't they just give that man the
Cute.
full
That's a
body?
great word for it.
Like, maybe they were dropping the bombs themselves. They didn't have enough time to prepare his robo brain torso with the treads and everything. They just gave him the little Roomba vacuum, and they put a brain on top of it.
Something
that was
happened
all
with
they
the
had.
timeline, though, right? I mean,
I-
because
I-
it's clear that they weren't fully prepared, and we see that throughout the games.
And again,
Mhm.
I may have a theory that ties all this in, but stay tuned.
Sure,
Not yet.
sure.
Yeah. But it just felt like it was that moment where he realized, like, as desperate as he is, if he doesn't do something crazy, he's never making it out of this.
And so on the other side of that question, what do you think it was that stopped him from doing that for as long as he was in there? Like, was it really just his he just didn't want to rock the boat, or like he just like what was it
I
that
think a
made
lot
him
of it
not
was
do
him
it?
coming to grips with what the actual situation was, because
Yeah.
we saw in full detail through season 1 and a little bit of the first episode this year of Lucy's bubble being burst.
Mhm.
Like she thought she knew the way things were supposed to be, what she was supposed to do when she got out of the vault and everything else, and then all of a sudden one day things go upside down and she's now left to deal with it. But with him, I think his was more behind the scenes, sitting in that vault, staring at his father's cryopod and thinking like, how could he even do this? Like, this
Mhm.
isn't the man I know. This isn't the man that raised me. And just going over it and over
Right.
it in his own head, trying to
Mhm.
come to grips with the fact that, like, basically everything that he's been taught is a lie, and the man that taught him was a liar.
Was the architect of the lies.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That
You know,
Or
and
at least
remember, he
part of the
doesn't know what
pyramid.
Lucy knows. He doesn't know what Lucy knows. Not
Right.
really. So
He only
he's
knows
on his own
what he
internal
saw and
journey.
what Bud told him.
Right.
And so now, and not only that, you got Bud pretty much sitting there at the top of the steps because they didn't even make a ramp accessible, so poor little Roomba can't get past. But he's just sitting there at the top of the steps, just antagonizing the poor kid and telling him, yeah, this is exactly the man your father was. Everything you knew about everything you knew about him, bullshit. Here's the truth for
Right.
however long. And he had to kind of like absorb that, take it in, and come to grips with the fact that like everything that I ever knew is a lie.
Yeah. And that took time.
Mhm.
And that's what they
Yeah.
were trying to represent with all the empty food boxes, was his unwillingness to stare that reality in the face and recognize that his father had been one of the young, hungry, promising middle managers who became one of Bud's buds and
Right.
was part of
Yep.
the architecture of the end of the world, not somebody born in another vault who came and became, the overseer, but
So
something with an even bigger backstory.
And let's be honest, that's true to life. Because if you are, hopefully you're not one of these people, but if you are one of these people who had an amazingly strong bond with somebody, like absolutely loved somebody, looked up to them, and then when you got older, you realize like that was all kind of BS. It's a heartbreaking moment. It's a lot for you to take in, and it
For
takes
sure.
a while
Yeah.
for you to
Mhm.
just deal
Get
with
over
it,
that.
accept it, and then try to move on.
Mhm.
And I think they kind of played that out a little bit in that scene with the ration boxes and with him
Yep.
practically
Mhm.
starving before he got up off the floor and trying to collect those drips and everything else because he was trying to deal with the wave that crashed over him when he realized, you know, my father is not the guy I thought he was.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a huge thing for somebody, especially in his position. You know, he's not the oldest of people. He is admittingly a coward. You know,
Mhm.
his dad has stood up for him and, given him opportunities and kind of, coddled him
Mhm.
and made him feel special at the same time. And then you find all this out, and that's a lot to deal with at once.
Mhm.
Especially when a Roomba vacuum with a brain on top of it is talking crap the whole time.
Yeah, really.
And just to kind of tie in with all that, remember everybody in those cryopods. He's not around his father. He's not around Lucy. But who has all the answers to the questions that he would have that Bud isn't answering?
The
They're
people
all
in
in
the
the
pods.
An
cryopods.
awesome point, too.
Yeah.
That's
So
why he thought
he
them out.
knows that
And
the
even if
answers
those
are
people in the
there.
pods don't have the answers, they might not know what's going on or why they're there, but he does. So when they come out, he can explain to them like, this is exactly why.
Yeah.
Like maybe they told you something, but no, this is it. See the Roomba vacuum over there. He wants to take over. He wants to end all existence.
And this also throws a clog in their machine because they're all meant to come out at certain points in time. And
Every
so
30 years.
he's accomplishing several things all at once. One, he sends the Vault Tech program into disarray. Two, he may have, like, he's fighting for chances at this point in time because he's come to grips with the fact that he's trapped. There's no way he's getting out.
Right.
But if he could, obviously Bud's already made up his mind. He's like, you're not leaving here. But what if he could lobby one of the other people in Vault-Tec saying, hey, I'm Hank's kid. Can you let me out? So there's multiple answers that lie
or
beyond
literally
that
go to
veil.
the people in the pods and say, hey, this Roomba vacuum doesn't want to let us out, but there's one of him and 30 of us.
And
Yeah.
no food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I
By
ate
the
it
way,
all
there's no
already.
food and water, so we need to get out of here. So you
So here's
might
a
want to help
sympathetic
me.
ear, maybe,
Mhm.
Or if not a sympathetic ear, then just a group of people that you can turn against your captor. Whether they
Exactly.
like you or not is
Exactly.
irrelevant. They got to eat.
Mhm.
You know what else would be an absolute trip though, because we saw the pod start to thaw, but we didn't really see anybody get out. Wouldn't it be kind of crazy if Janie and Cooper's wife were in there?
Yeah, I wonder who else is all in there.
That's
That's a good.
I've
I
not
didn't
even
really
thought
think
of
about
that.
that.
Yeah.
I
That is
thought that they would be in
insane.
something separate.
Could you
like
imagine if
something
this was the
different.
good vault that his wife was talking about way back in the
Yeah,
in
somehow they
pre-war?
even tricked her.
Right. She was so
After
high
all
up,
that,
and
they
yet
tricked
she's
her.
Is she immune to vault text?
Well, that's a
you know.
that's a great point, Kathy. And here that brings me back to something else I've been thinking about for a while too.
You're good.
You're good because they had
You're
to
good,
have
you.
tricked her, or somebody tricked them. And the only option I can see for that is the Enclave, honestly. But they had to have tricked her because her daughter was with Cooper the day the bombs dropped. She would have never allowed that if she was as powerful as she made herself out to be.
Yeah, if she knew when those bombs were going to fall.
See,
yeah.
see
She's
that
not the
that's
master of her own destiny either.
Yeah,
that was the biggest thing that I got out of season 2, between the things that we saw and then listening to Bud talking about trying to wait for all life to be exterminated before they came out and all this. It's like you guys know, because you played the games, you follow it, you know Vault-Tec. That is not a Vault-Tec practice.
No.
That is a
Eugenics?
total Enclave practice.
Yeah.
That is, if you have been kissed by radiation on the cheek, you are a mutant and you need to go.
That's right. But who are the perfect non-radiated vault-dwelling humans? They're middle management trained to be, that according to Bud.
Oh, yeah,
he
but
was
that's
trying to fit a role. In my mind, that's how I see it anyway. For now, that's where I went.
Oh
with
yeah,
it.
but that's the thing with even going through the lore, the games, even all the way up to Fallout 76, they will tell you the Enclave was in everything. It was in entertainment, it was in industry, it was in government, it was everywhere.
They were the military-industrial complex.
When you think that Hank started out as an intern, became this powerful executive, one of Bud's buds, and he has all this technical know-how. Doesn't it kind of feel like maybe Hank's one of those Enclave representatives in Vault-Tec?
Well, that brings me to who was Hank calling on the shortwave radio, because I don't believe it was House.
You don't think it was
I don't
House?
think it was House
I don't
either.
either.
No.
I think he was trying to reach out to some form of Enclave. I doubt that they would say that like the oil rig still exists, because it probably doesn't. But the Enclave were based out of the West Coast in several different spots. I mean,
Here's
he
the
could have
thing, Hank
even
doesn't
tried to be
know.
calling Chicago. You don't know.
Hank doesn't know that the oil well's not there. He doesn't know everything that's happened all along.
It would
He's
be
picked up
gone.
some stuff on the road to Vegas,
Right.
or
He
maybe
doesn't
even
have
when he
all
was
the
out before he nuked Shady Sands. But he
listened
doesn't
to
know
like
everything.
185,000 voicemails, but he still doesn't have everything.
Yeah, let's get to work.
Also, Bethesda said something about they were not going to cater to the endings of Fallout New Vegas. I didn't hear anywhere else in what they said about the events of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. Although, because the water chip comes out, the water chip issue comes out, it does seem to kind of be the same linear.
That did feel
time
very
space.
Fallout 1. That did,
This is
that,
definitely an
and
Easter
the water
egg for
chip
sure.
was spot on. I love
Yeah.
that. You want to talk about Easter eggs? That water chip was 1-to-1, man. I was
Yeah, for sure.
So are they going to subvert the plots of 1 and 2 as well?
Well, I don't think they said, by the way, that they weren't going to.
Oh, it
What
was
they said was we are creating a version of those endings where everybody 10, 12, 15 years down the road has a good argument for why their faction won. Even if Caesar is defeated and the Legionists drove back into Colorado or Arizona, they still have people that they could send back within 12 to 15 years who could be there and could be raising another force for whatever reason. Even if the NCR did not win, or even if they won at Hoover Dam,
And they
things
got
could have
blown away
happened
at Shady
since then
Sands.
that shut down the dam and stopped power from flowing to the NCR or to Vegas. So I think what they're getting at here is more of we're going to leave it open enough to where the person who's living in the universe wouldn't be able to give you a accurate timeline of events in any way that would be something where fans could individually go, oh, that's it. That's a House victory. The problem with that, of course, is if House is still alive in the post-war world, there's only a couple of ways that could happen. So whether that lines up with any of our game saves or not, I think is honestly not the most important point.
Yeah,
it's
I
kind of
don't.
weird.
I
No.
don't
There's
think
there's
that-
just
We
there's
wanna
a big
leave it
group
still
out
kind of
there is that
open-ended.
whether they're fans or whether they do something like this that preach to you that like this season is going to be the quote unquote canonical ending to New Vegas. And honestly, I feel like you would probably anger more people trying to
Yeah.
stick to that than you would just trying to come up with a decent story that could have possibly happened.
Yes. Yeah. And
You know, I mean,
honestly,
it's
it's
like-
a little bit mental one way or the other, however you
Yeah.
want to label that, to expect them to give that to you. And Bethesda has made a history in all of their franchises of being as vague as possible with their unreliable narrators and with what you heard was a guy's opinion about what happened in blah, blah, blah. What you heard was, their story, but not our story. Our Maximus with his, everybody wants to save the world. They just can't agree on how to do it.
Right.
So
and honestly, I mean, even as a fan of the games from the late 20th century, I mean, it's especially since Bethesda took over, it's like, yeah, we'll tell you a story, but we don't mind changing it for the next one. Like we're big on that. You can call it retconning, you can call it whatever you want. The fact remains, they will adjust the story, they will change something in the timeline, they will do whatever to
They need the
forward
wiggle room to be able
their
to
next
do it.
project.
Well,
cool is more important than
Exactly.
slavish accuracy to some decision that was made 12 years ago or 25 years ago.
Exactly.
That may have been made by
rule
other
of cool
people, too.
That's all it is.
and it's sustainability. They're not dumb.
That
They're
too.
a business.
That's right.
They want to make some money. So, yeah, I think it's sustainability for sure.
I don't think we're going to see all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted. And
Oh,
if
no,
you're
me neither.
expecting
I'm
that,
not
expecting
not that you guys would
I'm not
be,
even saying
but
that in a bad
the fans
way.
out there that are like, which is the canon ending? Those people need to get their medication adjusted because Bethesda's never gave you any of that.
Right.
You can argue that Fallout 3 in a way does it, but that's only because it's a very linear story with very little wiggle room, so.
Yeah. In one small part of the Fallout universe at the same time. Like that's
Right.
their ending. You know what I mean? That's the ending of the Capital Wasteland. But then in other places, different things are happening. They even show you that like the Brotherhood is different on the West Coast than they are someplace else. So, it in comparison, it would be like if you're a Marvel Comics guy or whatever, and somebody gave you a canonical ending to Spider-Man, 90% of the people who are Spider-Man fans are going to be mad because they're not all fans of the same Spider-Man.
That's right.
Yeah. And I think that's the risk that excuse me, that's the risk that they take on doing any kind of video game adaptation. Is because they are taking like the Fallout story isn't our story. Like we didn't make it up, but it feels like we did because we're calling all the shots in our games. So to take that story and then put it on a screen and then tell it to us, or you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
without any input from the audience at that point, that must have been a really hard call for them to make to allow that to happen. Which is why I think we waited so long to get any sort of Fallout adaptation.
I'm glad they did.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job at it too. And I think they're being really smart about not committing to any one ending and being very transparent about the fact that they're not going to do that because they don't want to piss people off, which is very smart.
And not only that, but they waited around long enough to see the pitfalls of what happens to other game adaptations who are slavishly adapted to one linear story or whatever. I mean, imagine we waited 20 years for
Halo.
Yeah. Imagine we waited 20 years for Fallout and we got something like Halo. Or honestly, from my perspective, even worse, we waited 20 years and we got a note-for-note remake of Fallout 3, but with live-action actors. And then you'd have people go, my character didn't make that decision. My character knew Megaton. My character didn't, do this. My character didn't care at all about the underworld. I'm glad that they waited long enough to put it in their head that they wanted to say, here's the setting, the Fallout setting. It's its own character. And anyone can, not anyone, but people who have that option can plug a story into that and tell this story and let the chips fall where they may.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Does anybody else
So-
hear a ringing bell?
A ringing bell?
No.
No, Bubbles.
Hopefully
Are
that's
you
not
okay?
coming across to you guys.
No.
No,
No.
I'm not.
No.
But I do know what you're talking about because
I found it. It wasn't
Okay.
as long as it wasn't going into the podcast. I won't feel
No,
like an
no, you're fine.
absolute
You're
tool.
fine.
Yeah. Okay.
you're
good.
fine.
It was the timer. I said.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I'm looking at. I'm watching the
Okay.
time on the screen, and I'm like,
What the
Yeah.
hell is that
not hit the
noise?
1 hour mark.
Yeah. I told you it wouldn't be hard for us to just
No,
gab for
it
an hour.
wouldn't.
No, we could talk about this all damn night.
Yeah. So there's like getting back to the whole Easter egg thing though. One of the ones that I really enjoyed was seeing Maximus come out of the fridge. And they showed that one scene over and over and over again. But
Mhm.
I was like, it's the boy in the fridge. Oh my God.
It's Billy.
Yeah.
And then actually Ron said this. He was like, I wonder if Lucy and Maximus had met in Shady Sands before
When she was
because-
just a kid.
when she was a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
What do you
Mhm.
think about that? Like, how weird would that be if
That-
they like
it's
knew
a
each
cool
other?
Would be
idea.
Weird.
And
It
we might
would-
see a flashback of that if it's the
We
case.
might.
You know.
We
It
might.
would be kind of awesome, and it would totally make sense for the story they've told because even
Mhm.
if they did meet in Shady Sands as children, like once you grow up and you've spent however
Yeah.
many 10, two decades apart, you're not gonna be able to pick that person out of a lineup.
No,
Not
but
typically, no.
they'd have
Depends
some.
on your motivation for remembering, I suppose. But yeah.
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 Like trust me, me as a kid did not look this ugly. Okay.
But if you threw a baseball as high as you could in the air and it came down and hit some girl in your first grade class in the top of her head and gave her a giant shiner and, or whatever, you might still remember that as clear as day because that's something out of the ordinary that happened as opposed to every other day of your
Pain
life
also
when you were.
reinforces memory.
And I
So
I just
just
I
depends.
just think it would be a really cool like story device to like
It's a cool concept to have
I
a
like
kid
the
that looks
idea
like
of it.
Maximus walk in the background of a flashback where Lucy's with her mom in the cornfield. You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
and it could
Yeah.
be it could be the kind of thing where like that's like Lucy's remembering the fact that she was outside of the vault. Does she remember that actually? I don't know.
It's not stated, but Vault-Tec has like technological wizardry where they've already established that they can implant memories. They could also probably remove something like that.
Oh, I didn't even
Hank
think
seems
that.
desperate enough to want to do
they
something
were
like that to
technically
make sure
working
that
on
she
a
wouldn't
mind
remember her
control
mom.
Mhm.
yeah, we've kind of not even
Yeah.
gotten to
Maybe
the whole
they
mind
snapped
control.
one on Lucy and kind of,
She did literally say that she remembered being in the sun and feeling the sun on her face. And then as
Mhm.
she got older, she was like, how can that be? Because our sun is artificial and
Mhm.
it doesn't give off heat like the sun. And then later on, when she was told that she had been out there at Shady Sands with her mom, she did, have a flashback to that memory
Oh,
and
yeah,
realized that
end
the
of,
sun had been on her face.
At
Mhm.
the end of
So-
season 1, when Moldaver shows her mom, basically what's left
Mhm.
of her,
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then she remembers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I think it would
all
just be
about
a
that.
really cool revelation for her, for them to have that conversation and they realize that, oh, we were in Shady Sands at about the same time. Yeah, I think that would be very, very interesting. I'm like Team
agree.
Lucy Maximus for sure. I really want to see them.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I kind of hope the crazy kids get together, but I don't know if it's going to happen this year. I mean, even when they showed the sneak preview of the season, it looks like Maximus and the Brotherhood are going to have their hands full.
Are
Mm.
And
you
I'm kinda-
shipping Moosey though, Raven?
What?
Moosey,
Are you shipping
Moosey?
shipping Moosey? Kathy is.
you
Not,
don't like
not Goosey. It's
you,
Moosey.
you don't like
Maximus.
Laximus?
Laximus, I guess is all
Laximus?
right.
Oh my God.
I don't know about that. I
Wow.
don't know about that.
I mean, I hate to be
We could go down a tunnel.
I
with
hate to
this
be
one, couldn't
vulgar,
we?
but Laximus are the shit.
Dumb.
Well, and there's Goosey too. So yeah.
Right?
There is
Right?
that. Lord
Which
knows
is-
I like getting goosey.
What about this mind control thing, you guys? Where do you think this is going? What's this about? How does it relate to the games and the story we know so far from Fallout?
I mean, I felt like it related back to the first episode of last year
Mhm.
because when you saw Wilzig in the Enclave base and they had the other dogs, out and about, they had a
Yeah.
collar with this big brick stuck to the
Yeah.
back of their
Yeah,
neck.
the little antenna sticking up thing.
And that was another thing that made me think, like, okay, Enclave's in Vault Tech, because that looked like a smaller version of what we saw Anthony House use,
Yep.
and then the even smaller version that Hank created. And then we also know from at least Fallout 3 that the Enclave had been working on a device that would control the minds of Deathclaws.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there to here, if they can control a Deathclaw, well, maybe we can control a human. Like, it's not far-fetched for the Enclave. I know for us, we're like, God, that's crazy. Why would you? But for the Enclave, that's a Tuesday.
That's a
Mhm.
Tuesday. Yeah. And
Yeah.
not only that, but if you have some remnant of this technology that's passed down over the next 200 years, you're going to have more degenerated, for lack of a better word, versions of humans who are going to find and utilize aspects of this tech, but maybe discard the mind control part because they have no idea how to make that work or if it ever worked, and only use the head exploding part. And now you've got slave collars in Paradise Falls
Exactly.
and
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
Nuka World,
World,
and
Nuka World.
Yep.
And yeah.
all of that. So I feel like there's just a lot of underlying tones of Enclave popping up at the beginning of this series, at least.
Mhm.
Because remembering, the dogs with the collars and
Yep.
things, and then seeing
From the first episode of season 1.
yeah,
Mhm.
and then
Yep.
coming back to this and seeing it, being used by Anthony House, or having the Commie Vault, or whatever. It just feels like this is less and less Vault Tech and more Enclave, especially when Bud's talking about essentially ending everything on the surface before they even decide to move out.
Right.
That is
So do you
totally
think that
Enclave.
Season 2's Cold Fusion, do you think this is the MacGuffin that we're going to be chasing throughout season 2, or is this just something for the first couple episodes?
That's a good question.
I
James
would
Yomi
say
Soda.
that if Cold Fusion does hit the wasteland, it basically is the catalyst that changes the world for the better.
Well,
You
it
know,
rebuilds the NCR, right?
But that's to be at
Mhm.
this point.
I
it's
mean,
in
anybody who controls it is going
For
to
right now, it's plugged
skyrocket in
into the
popularity.
infrastructure of the NCR.
Yeah.
The last we saw of it, anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but didn't
Which
they-
makes them
the
now
Brotherhood
another
took it
target
from
for the
them
Brotherhood again.
yeah,
at
but
the end of season
we don't know what
one.
the Brotherhood did. Did they literally unplug it and take it back and use it to power the Pridwin or more
Are you
Pridwins?
kidding? They probably took it and brought it back to their hoarding storage unit to drop it in with the rest of the tech they don't want anybody to have.
Like the Lost Ark in Indiana Jones?
Yes.
In the warehouse? The
Yeah,
Brotherhood
it's
warehouse?
being
Yeah.
guarded by top men.
Top men, yeah. All the lights were turned off in the Griffith Park Observatory neighborhood. So at the very least now they've made enemies of any wastelanders who briefly had power and electricity and then suddenly did not again, and the blimp flew away,
Mhm.
across the screen. So there are implications for whether or not it's used, however it's used.
Also,
I mean-
I'm very quick to point out, remember that they're talking about the Brotherhood schism. All right. And so maybe the word of the Cold Fusion has spread out so far and wide within the Brotherhood that all the different elders are trying to decide, okay, well, who's going to have this power? Who has the different ideas of how to use it? And that could also be one of the reasons why the schism is taking place.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, and here comes Elder
Yeah.
Maxon.
Yeah. There's going to be the purists. They're the ones that were fundamental about the Brotherhood. And you see Maximus's group where you can clearly see that the elder that is above Maximus is using Maximus as a useful idiot to be a
Yes.
symbol. And
Mhm.
it's clear that they're in it for power.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it's not established. Are the Eastern Brotherhood, Western Brotherhood? Because the Midwestern Brotherhood is very centralized in the United States. If you've ever looked at the map, It's very centralized. And I think we're going to see the Brotherhood of New Vegas make a pop-up, because in the events of New Vegas, they're already recovering from the schism. It may be that it just never ended for them, and they're hiding from both sides, or one of the threads, one of the fringe threads of the Brotherhood that makes it so divided right now. They may have different ideas about it as well.
Well, it's definitely a schism. So, and we haven't seen anything but previews as far as that goes. But I think at the very end, we ought to do that. We'll throw that around the round table here, and we'll say, what are your predictions for this season? Like, as far as what's not been shown on the screen in this episode. That might be a fun thing to do. So at the end, we can all rib each other over how wrong we were.
Yeah. I did this for Star Wars, like back when the newer episodes came out. I was really digging into fan theories.
Yeah, I try not to speculate too much. I don't. I'm not.
I can't stop.
I'm not very critical when it comes to TV shows. I'll watch pretty much anything, but especially with something like this, I don't want to speculate and get behind an idea that isn't going to go anywhere, and then I'll just be disappointed. So I don't know. I'm like, I'll watch it. I'm just going to watch it. I'm going to watch the shit out of this show, and we're going to talk about it.
Yep.
So I'm going to refrain. I'm not going to make any predictions. I'm not going to go there, but I feel like you guys are. So
I'm definitely going to do it.
To me, it's just bullshit. It's just while
I
you're
love
rolling dice
world
with your
building.
buddies or whatever, you're just bullshitting. It doesn't really matter, but you don't have to participate in that if you don't want to. It's perfectly fine.
I don't know if you guys watch me, but predictions are kind of my thing.
Kind of Dom's thing.
Yep.
I'm just saying. I've won 23 prediction championships. They're kind of my thing.
prediction championships.
What do you guys think about who Hank was calling? Who does Hank really work for? Because it's clear that he has another boss that, in his mind at least, is above Vault-Tec.
I think it's clearly somebody that they haven't introduced yet. Like that much was really, really plain. And when it's out there in the void like that, it's just like nothing fills a vacuum more than speculation. And so it's just like, who could it be? And where are they going to go with this? And how crazy are they going to get with it?
Right,
like how much fallout are they going to put into this guy?
It's exactly why they picked this week by week schedule as opposed to a binge watching schedule for this, because they want us doing this. They want people doing it around the truck at work or the water cooler in the proverbial sense. They want people making podcasts like this and talking about it. They want the speculation and the what ifs and the predictions. They're inviting it. So
I seriously, I have to stick with somebody from the Enclave. I don't know how they would. I don't know who they would use, but there are plenty of West Coast chapters that they could draw from the series, from the game lore, and or they could just come up with their own. I think they literally used the line of him saying, like, "I'm back in Vegas, your old stomping grounds," to kind of throw you off and make you
off. Yes,
he's talking about House, but I also think if he was talking about House, if House survived the way he did in New Vegas, and if nobody eliminated him, why did he not immediately respond?
Yep.
He's reaching out to someone other than House, and from what you see of his capabilities, from what you hear from Bud, who was the one that backed Hank and wanted him to be one of Bud's buds and put him in that position, and made him overseer of a vault in the first place. It kind of feels like Bud and Hank had a lot to do with the Enclave.
What's your thought then on that line? Because when he says, "I'm back in Vegas, your old stomping grounds," what else is in and around Vegas that is not House, but in canon or in our world, instantly recognizable as something in and around Vegas? And for me, that's Area 51.
Oh.
So that could be the Enclave.
I was just about when you
Yeah.
asked that question, that was going to be my answer.
Yeah. True.
Very interesting.
And that's what I thought. It's not that far fetched when you know what the Enclave are, the way they operate, and where they could possibly still be.
Yeah. Or where they had some structure or some vault or some organizational capability,
some base.
some resources that were stashed for a future time. You start looking around at places that wouldn't necessarily be directly under House's control, things that might have even been compartmentalized over his head, maybe, or maybe not, because he does want to go to space. He's got a space program that he's working on.
Right,
That's what he tells the courier. So maybe
Yeah.
not, but maybe Area 51 could be something that would have some sense of separation from House. You get that red herring with "I'm back in your old stomping ground." People go, "Oh, House." But there's another thing there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we do know that the Enclave exists because we literally saw them in season 1.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's to say they don't swing back around and get involved and
That's
hang
right.
some part of it?
They keep
along
coming back
with
anyway.
Bud.
I mean,
it would be a really good way to get them back in and put them in the public eye,
Right.
Like, haha, you
Make
forgot
them
about
a
us. We're still
make them
here.
a bigger part of the series, except as opposed to the small cameo in season 1, and then okay, we'll just turn it over to a bounty hunter and
right.
let the ghoul go after her.
Well, because I think a lot of people who love the Enclave, at least from a Fallout point of view, I'm not talking about what they're personally aligned with morally. or anything, but people who love the Enclave and want to see that faction. It's an old joke at this point. It's almost like the Star Wars movies you were talking about, Ram, but somehow Palpatine returned. Somehow the Enclave keeps coming back.
They just
Fallout
keep popping
2
up like a bad penny, and that's the thing. Like, even I don't like any of the Enclave behaviors, but the Enclave are to Fallout what the Empire is to Star Wars. Like, you want to hate them, but they're so freaking cool.
Yeah,
Right.
they're
Like,
a
they have these
great
cool
thing to rail
uniforms,
against.
great weapons,
and they're a great antagonist.
Yeah.
They move the story forward every time they come into the picture.
Like, you
With
can't
the
have a
Vault
hero
Dwellers.
without them. You know what I mean?
I just think that the difference. I think the difference between the Empire is like when the Empire is in control, they're omnipresent. You can't wash the stench of them off of you.
Yeah.
Whereas the Enclave, they're the little shadow. They're the ghost with their hand up the Mona Lisa skirt. That's the way they were presented.
They're like the Empire in the
They're
last movie.
amorphous.
They're off on a planet that you can't get to unless you have something specific, and that sort of thing. They're hiding in the shadows, waiting for their moment to rise to power once again.
The Empire and the Enclave are inversions of one another. They're both the same type of enemy, but they represent the shadow and light side of that power. The really out, omnipresent, kind of in-your-face version, and the behind-the-scenes controlling everything and pulling the strings. So
yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's at least one big theory of mine. And the other one was, of course, Cooper Howard was probably in Vault 12.
Yeah.
It makes sense. The experiment.
You're winning me over with this theory of
I
yours.
love this idea. I hadn't really considered it until about midweek, but it got pointed out in another short I watched. But that it's possible that Bakersfield, because he had a ranch there, and that's the vault. Yeah. So you're winning me over on that one for sure. I don't believe that House is talking to, or that Hank is talking to House on the shortwave radio, or has any intention of talking to House. Might be being intercepted by some element of House's power structure, but it's definitely not intended for House. And I think that looking down the road, my big prediction is that one of the factions of the Brotherhood is led by a synth replacement that doesn't know he's a synth.
Oh no!
All right.
Paladin Dance 2.
Yeah.
I'm Paladin, not Dance.
I'm Elder Maxim, but I laugh and have a good time.
Right? That would be freaking weird.
Because the person we saw, what's his name, Kamal, the actor, that we
Oh, yeah.
saw.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Camille
like
Nanjiani.
Elder Maxon smiles too freely to be Elder Maxon. The first thing I thought was that's a fucking sin.
That's a sin.
Hi, everybody.
Elder Maxon does not
Never
smile.
smiles.
You want to create chaos? I'm your
Yeah.
guy.
And then, I have an extremely far-fetched theory, but if you remember the pre-war flashback where they did show the airship as if they were trying to say, hey, look, airships existed back then, like there could be more than one. I know what we said, but look, there it is. But during that, on the radio, they had a commercial for West Tech, who had announced that they were launching a new skin cream line.
Yes.
And my very, very, very far-fetched, practically tinfoil hat theory is that West Tech was trying to introduce FEV pre-war.
Yes.
Oh, no, that's canon. That's actually canon.
No, I mean introduce it to the public. Like,
Like they were putting it out
a skin
publicly on
cream.
radio that they were starting a skincare
a
line
skincare line. Yeah.
before the bombs dropped.
I think that's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Dom.
And I think
but
that
also, like-
skincare line, like your face lotion, had like trace amounts of FEV in it, just to be silly.
Just to be silly.
Like, you know that shampoo you're
bunch of
using?
different
Yeah,
items
it's got
of
FEV in it too. That
I
toothpaste
like
you
it.
bought from us,
It-
FEV.
Listen, on the airship thing, if the only evidence we have is Kel says that we designed and built this over 13 months out of the wreckage of the mobile base crawler
Right.
in Fallout 3, who gives a shit? What does Kells know about what happened 200 years ago? Nothing.
We don't know shit.
He knows more than the average person because he's part of the Brotherhood and they catalog and document technology and resources. But he's still 3 steps from the move, man.
what an
So
amazing
if that's
man
your
that
only
Kel.
evidence that airships didn't exist canonically and that this is a retcon, I think that's weak.
Yeah, it's a little weak.
Yeah.
But what an amazing man that Kells. He was part of the Brotherhood and the Spaceballs, all in one lifetime.
Yeah, that's right.
He crossed
And
so
Tuvok.
many lines.
Yeah, and Tuvok.
That too.
If his great grandfather had been using that West Tech skin cream, he might have had the pointy ears by now.
Right? Maybe that's why. We don't know. We don't
Yeah.
know.
Missed
Just saying.
opportunity.
We could find out later. We don't know. But see, FEV in the skincare line. It could have happened. It could
Coulda
happen.
Coulda.
Yeah.
In the
Coulda.
real world, they used to put cocaine in it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
that was
in the
coke.
1800s.
Yeah,
Young-
actually, I did.
Coke
actually
had
read
literal
something
coke
about
in it.
it.
Cocaine. Yeah, there were very minute trace amounts of cocaine in,
There were
in
radio-
all kinds of.
So the
In all
next time you're
kinds of
talking about how
household products.
hardcore your energy drink is, just think of that.
Yeah, your
Coke
energy
had
drinks
Coke.
ain't shit.
Mhm.
There were skincare lotions that had asbestos. There were skincare lotions that had radiological materials in them.
Yep.
These are all canon things from our own universe. So Fallout is a farcical expression of that, but it's not that far fetched.
Exactly. It's not.
I
you
think
can
it's
kinda draw a
perfect social
comparison
commentary for the
from
age
one
we
world
live
to the
in
other.
now.
Yeah, true, Rim. Yeah.
I think Graham's got it. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I talked over you. Like, could you repeat what you said actually, so that we don't lose it?
Which
Down
part?
the part that I talked over on you.
Oh God, I'd love
Oh
to.
no, did I?
I forgot it. Don't worry, we got good audio. It's cool.
It's
okay,
buried in there
okay.
somewhere.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
I do it too. No worries, Ram. No worries.
No, yeah. I just didn't want to gloss over what you'd said and completely devalue it.
No, that's fine. I think I was just saying, like, I was agreeing with Bubbles' point that, like, knowing that these things had happened in real life and at some point in our timeline makes it more believable that it would kind of play off in this timeline in a
resonant.
similar way.
Yeah, it rhymes at the very least, right?
Because Fallout has drawn from real life to create their world in the first place. Like we just talked about how House was based on Howard Hughes, and there are a few other, maybe the Enclave or certain chapters of the Brotherhood were based on some really bad people in real life. Possibly.
Even the East Coast Brotherhood, you guys went from pretty hard toe the line, get the technology, we're not interfering or protecting anyone, we're not here for that,
right,
to the Lions maneuver where they were going to try to help with Project Purity, and they were actually looking out for wastelanders and trying to clear out the mutants and the
super
feral
mutants.
ghouls.
It's not
And then
enough
there
to hoard
was-
technology. It's not.
Well-
There's got to be a philosophical, moralistic idea of we have this technology. What are we doing with it? Are we just collecting it for the sake of collecting it, taking it
Yeah.
out of the wrong hands? Well, if there's wrong hands, who are the right hands?
Right.
According to them.
But
Yeah.
even that one chapter of the Brotherhood went back and forth 3 different times canonically in 2 games.
Yes.
We had what are they called? The Outcasts.
Outcasts.
The Outcasts
Yeah.
were the hardliners, and the Lions faction were the
rejected
they want to
Lions,
be the good neighbors. And then
Yeah.
they switch, and now you've got the Outcast faction in control in Fallout 4,
Fallout 4.
basically.
But
and
they were
the Lions
fundamentalists.
faction are gone.
And then even
Yeah.
in 76, you kind of get that dichotomy again when the Brotherhood shows up.
Oh, that was intentional for sure, to show you
Yeah.
both sides of the Outcast and the Lions faction.
I can't remember. I can't remember the names because I'm not.
Romani and,
Romani and
Romani and Shin.
yes,
Yeah.
Shin was very traditional and by the book, and Romani wanted to, kind of help the people in the area and protect wastelanders from, mutants and raiders and that sort of thing. And Shin just wanted to go by the book.
Yeah. And I love that about Romani, but that's me.
Yeah.
You know,
I tried to
I-
romance her. You get a small.
I'm kind of a
flavor.
Lions
you get a
pride
taste of
guy.
it. You get a taste of it. Yeah.
I'm kind of a Lions pride guy, mostly for Sarah, but that's another
Oh, yeah.
story for another
Sarah
Oh,
day.
yeah,
Lions
she's
forever.
baller.
Forever.
You want a positive female
Can
heroine?
you dye your
in
hair
there?
blonde and put on some power armor? That would really.
Right,
I
right.
would do it for you. Yeah.
The Brotherhood.
You're going to love
join
Outcast and
us.
Remnants.
Power armor is sexy. It's a
Well, was
great
there anything we
marketing
didn't
gig.
cover, you guys? I mean, there was tons we didn't cover, but
Well, there were the questions, but I think we covered quite a few of them just
I
through
did
the course
have
of
I did
conversation.
have one question that I asked you guys when we were chatting leading up to this, and if you want, we can put it in. It's
Let's
probably
do
a
it.
quick answer. It was Kathy and I came up with it. It was if you could put yourself in the wasteland that we've seen so far in Fallout Season 1 and 2. What would you do, or and if you were if you were just a regular person in the wasteland, or if not, what faction would you want to join?
okay.
I'd be a raider for sure.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
Just sticking it out there.
No. Well, think about this for a minute. If you wanted, like, let's just say you're getting caught up in the plot. It runs on the premises that you're getting caught up in the plot. What happens if you're the raider that suddenly goes good? As a wrestling fan,
Yeah, you're the
you
heel
love
that
it when the
becomes.
heel turns.
You get that
hero.
face turn and everybody goes crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. No, I like it. I like it.
And now I'm coming.
We
with
love you,
all-
John Cena.
Yeah. And you're coming with your homemade.
Thank you for everything you
all
did. Enjoy
weapons and-
retirement.
and you've got the know-how how to handle the wasteland. The ghoul has that ability. That's how they managed
Yeah.
to get it, because he's practically a raider, but he's very he doesn't need raiders to be who he is. But
He
he's
doesn't need a
got
gang.
that- yeah,
Yeah.
he is who he is.
Yeah.
So, but you could tell that story, and I think it would make great headlines.
No, that's a beautiful answer.
It
And
would feed families.
Yeah. What about you, Raven?
I would 100% be a trader, like a TRADER.
I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah. I would be out there collecting shit and fixing it up and selling it for a lot of money. That's how I would make money. And I would
could
just
totally see you just laid up in a diner like Trudy selling stuff.
yeah, fully. Yeah,
Yeah.
fully.
No, I
Nice.
said I would be.
Your
true.
home is your castle.
Oh, you would be
in an
Trudy. Okay,
anarchistic
she's
world.
Trash Can Carla. She's got a Brahmin.
Yeah.
She's rolling all over the place.
Yeah, keep your shirt on.
Keep your shit on. I
Just
tell you what,
looking for love,
beautiful.
sweetheart.
You want directions to Diamond City?
Rob me.
Yeah, I just think that would be like the best way to, and like I wouldn't just deal with like goods, like information, right? Like
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
you have a
absolutely.
piece of
Anything
information.
worth
Yeah,
caps?
exactly.
Your world runs on caps, you know?
She just went from Trash Can Carla to I'm the wrong. Oh yeah.
Maybe. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's what I would do.
Now I'm picturing
100%.
Raven in a pompadour wig, looking like Johnny Bravo.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right,
Okay,
Bubbles,
Bubs,
your turn. What would you be?
do?
Oh, that's easy for me because that's my main character in Fallout 76. Strip away the combat, and all that kind of stuff. Who cares about that? But I'm a pre-war ghoul. I travel about. I've been around for the entire history of Fallout, just like Cooper Howard and the Ghoul have. But I'm a blues musician. I've got a couple of beat-up guitars and a harmonica, and I've been traveling around the wasteland being an entertainer.
I love that.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
And I'm only a ghoul because now I can be there for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm there, 25 years later, like Fallout 76. I'm there 70 years later, like Fallout 1. I'm there 210 years later, like Fallout 4.
Mhm. My ghoul story is that she was a high school dropout. Like, she just wasn't good at anything. And then she discovers herself over the course of her, 200 years of
Centuries.
existence.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She had a couple hundred years of practice.
Hmm.
I like it. Yeah, I honestly, I think in this world, considering that the NCR is a little blown up and short staffed to say the least, and since New Vegas, I have always, maybe prior to New Vegas, I've been a fan of NCR Rangers, especially. I would probably be an ex-Ranger who became a bounty hunter.
Okay.
That wasn't
And-
an
and
uncommon
just-
ending for a lot of ex-NCR.
But try not to be a bounty hunter like Cooper, where I'm just a dick for the sake of it. Like,
No,
I'm
you're
actually
taking-
take it up for good people. Somebody's wife comes to me and says, Raiders took out my husband and robbed my this and blah blah blah. She tells me where they are, and then I go get them. That sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Wasteland justice kind of thing.
Yeah.
A little less Cooper Howard, a little more Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah, more or less.
That
more or
kind of
less,
makes me want to change my answer.
Plus, I'm a great shot, and I do love me a good revolver.
I don't know. Maybe I could incorporate that into my Raider story, because there was a point on my previous channel that got taken down where I was playing a DJ that discovers what is it called? One of the Galaxy News Network stations, and gets it running again, all by himself with the help of a maintenance Protectron.
Nice.
And I was telling this story for a while. Bubbles, you were around then. I don't know if you actually
Yeah.
listened to any of those.
I remember
But-
that.
Oh, I still have all that lore inside my head, but like, could I be like a Raider and a DJ at the same time?
Oh yeah, you kid.
But I would
You were a
love.
Raider until you discovered the
Who's gonna
G&M
tell you
building.
can't?
I could rebrand that character.
Yeah,
That's
DJ
the-
A
Dixon.
couple
That's
of Beach
the-
Boys records changed your whole world.
Right? That's
Mhm.
the beauty of the apocalypse. Nobody's going to tell you no.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Especially if I've backed it up with my trusty rusty pipe revolver.
Right?
What's that? I can be anything I want to be.
A little
And I'm gonna back it up
bladed
with this
pool cue goes a
45.
long way. Literally, it's
Yeah.
got to reach.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we have been chatting about this for an hour and a half, which is about twice as long as we thought we were going to be chatting about it. So,
Yeah.
And there's
unless
a lot
there's
more there. I'm willing to bet.
There's
Yeah.
a good
Oh,
episode
for
there, though, and
sure.
I think that's a good
For
start
sure.
for next
Oh,
week,
for sure.
too. So
Oh no,
Yeah.
this was a ton of fun, and
Mhm.
I am absolutely glad that we did it. I'm honored to have been able to, hang out with you guys and just chit chat about
Oh.
something that I
Same,
absolutely
bro.
positively love.
Yeah.
And
feel 100% the same.
I'll do the cheap pops. If you love this chit chat as much as I do, then you should see these guys play games. So make sure to go and subscribe to Bubbleonia and Ram and Ravenswift on YouTube. And
Appreciate that.
there will be links in the description when this comes out. So make sure to check that. Click that, subscribe, start watching, start liking, get involved with these wonderful people, because I have, and it's amazing.
It is amazing, isn't it? It is amazing. And that's the one thing that you can say about the Fallout community is that we're awesome.
Yeah.
I agree,
Like,
100%.
We are, like, yeah, far and wide. They're like, every community has some bad apples, but for the most part, I think it's great that we have that pride.
And I
Yeah.
think
Mhm.
between the people that are sitting here, we make a very concerted effort to be very positive about all of the things that we talk about. And I like really, really appreciate that out of all of you. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's keep that up because everybody needs a little bit more positivity in this godforsaken world.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll remix what I say at the end of every wrestling stream. Like, enjoy Fallout, regardless of the ending, regardless of what game you're playing. Enjoy Fallout. If it's not your cup of tea, baby, what should they do?
Let somebody else drink it.
You damn right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Damn
right.
right. Damn
Is
right.
that- I just need to know what's in that big jug that Dom is
It
drinking.
is. It's kind of
Turkey Hill
disgusting.
iced tea, one of
Tea.
my
Okay,
favorites.
that's what I thought
It's
it
not
was.
your cup of
That-
tea.
Yeah.
It's not your
Okay.
2-gallon jug of tea.
If it's
That's
not
right.
your
Let
gallon
someone
jug of
else drink
tea,
it.
let somebody else drink it. That sip tasted like Sarah Lyon's thighs. Just
Well, I haven't got any tea, but I did wait in line to get myself a bottle of Sunset Sarsaparilla. So
Nice.
That's cool.
I am one jealous wastelander right now.
Awesome.
I was talking about that in my stream today about the Sunset Sarsaparilla. I'm a fan. Like everybody else is like, oh, I like my Nuka-Cola flavors, and I like the idea of like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the dark thing, but the Sunset
Nothing beats
Sarsaparilla
good
thing, I was just
sarsaparilla.
like, I can
Nothing.
get behind. Like that's cool. I can pick that. That's me. I love
Nice.
that stuff.
If
I
you
love
don't know
sarsaparilla.
sarsaparilla, you need to learn. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Mhm.
Just gonna say it.
There's a lot of like American type like sodas, because the history of soda is that it comes over from Europe, but there are things here in America like root beer, birch beer, sarsaparilla, like all of that. That's all homegrown. That comes from America, so it's cool, or North America, I should say. I suppose we could share that with Canada. Like we made
Thanks,
effective
Ram.
use of our
Thanks,
environment.
Wow, how gracious
Maple
of
syrup?
you
Come on.
to share it with the Canadians.
Well, we've come
Well,
a long
I'm
way
also-
in 297 years. We have.
Yeah.
We were, committing war crimes 297 years ago in the
Agave,
Fallout
Mexico.
universe,
Let's
and
talk about
now we're
tequila.
willing to share our sarsaparilla. So,
Mhm.
Progress.
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 Mhm.
All right, you guys. I do need
Maybe
to
that's
eat
why we
some-
annexed Canada, was for their birch beers and their maple syrup.
just the maple syrup. That's all you guys wanted. It is like $1 trillion industry. So, okay, I need to go eat dinner. So we're gonna, is it okay if we wrap this up?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fine.
that should be. You know what? This is fine.
This is fine. The
Yeah.
enemy, the truth is I'm mine. It go Pokemon every morning. The TRL after school.
I'll just say it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you like the video, that you follow these guys on YouTube. Links will be in the description below. Make sure to come back to the next one whenever that is, because we are the Council of Waste. We are here, and dare I say it, we're just over.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Babylonia Rising,
Together.
Rameth
And
Zero,
All of you for
Notorious
coming
Dom and
together on it.
Kathy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Ram. Thank you, Raven. Thank you, Dom, Kathy.
All right.
See you next time.
Yes. See you on the flip side.
Bye.